All right, everyone, welcome back to our third stream. So I'll just give 1 minute to double check that my mic and everything else is working, and then we will get back to coding as we usually do. Mic is okay. Screen is also okay. All right, my YouTube is going through. I need to actually test my Twitch as well. But anyways, if anyone is here, please let me know if you guys can hear me well. All right, so today is going to be the actual day when we start coding. By coding, I mean coding the component itself. So far, we built the API, just a dummy API in Laravel to fetch the data. There is more work to be done actually on the backend because we want to fetch more data, load more data, and also filter and all. Loading more is already covered, but the filtering part will be done to our API. So I just need to recollect my thoughts and make sure I'm on point because I really want to get some work done today. And also to organize the project because we have so much going on at the moment. First of all, I will do the usual stuff. I'll run my dev server. And everything is working so far as it was the other day. Okay, so let's plan today first. Otherwise, I'll be lost all day. So this was our plan in the last stream, and we got it done. Today will be pretty much this one. We will start off with designing. Let me zoom in a little bit. So first thing we'll do is we will design our a basic table. Again, this component is supposed to be headless, so I might design directly with Tailwind, but again, then I will just strip off everything to make sure that whoever installs it can configure his own styles. Again, we will definitely have a default one, but I haven't really given it a thought how to really do a headless component. So that is also something to discover, and I'll probably do my research while I record. So design the table. Then once we have the basic design working, then we will implement the load more logic. In fact, load more functionality. Let's just call it load more. And we'll make sure that we are loading more data from the API. And once that is done, I won't really show the number of pages. For now, we can just go ahead with the button. So first we will do it with the button, and later on we will make it load based on the scroll. So kind of an infinite scroll, but that will be opt-in. We will make sure that user can opt in whether he wants to add the infinite scroll or just want to go with the button. Just double checking, is my mic going through? Yeah, it is. Cool initiative, Zishan Elia. Thank you so much, brother. It's my third stream, so I'm just getting used to it. Thanks for joining anyways. I hope you'll stay. And maybe you won't get to learn much, but you'll get to see some code in action. It's very basic stuff that we are doing actually. We're just designing a data table. But by the time we get through this and end this stream, maybe 3 or 4 more streams, you'll have this component that will be open source. So a long way to go, but again, we always start with the small stuff and then build on top of that. So in the last video, we already configured our Tailwind, and let me double check. We have our index.html and everything that is within SRC. Tailwind will pick that up and will be applied to that. So that's the basic logic. Let me bump up my brightness. Oh, we have Suleiman as well. Thank you for coming back, man. Good to have you around. My name is Mudassir. I think it's very clear. a very common name. So we got the button, we got infinite scroll. What else do we need? And then we will go ahead and do the sorting. The sorting is going to be a tricky one. That's where we'll spend most of our time. And the fourth thing we'll do is check boxes. And this will also be a tricky one. It seems easy, but we'll show checkbox with each row, and we will make sure that when we are able to check the rows itself, and then later on, that those checks should be added to some array, so we can do either filtering on that, delete all of them together, and all. So let's get started with the first one. I really don't know if Tailwind has any table classes, so let me see if I can get some help from Tailwind table, because I just want a basic table. But I think it's the table layout. It's not really the table itself. Okay, let's just give it a try, because I don't remember anything. So let's go to the front end first. Source. So right now we have only one component, which is never good. Let's try to refactor it before we dive a bit too deep in it. So we got our basic imports at the top. Then we have why is my auto formatting still not working? Let me just double check. It has to be prettier. Now let me see, does it work? No. Control Shift F. It does. Normally the way it works is in your settings.json, I already have the editor.autoformat on save, but maybe I need to explicitly tell it which language to do it for. I think so. TypeScript. Maybe Vue. I don't know if it will pick Vue by itself or not, but I'm just giving it a shot. So my auto formatter, an auto format on save. Maybe not that way. I really don't know. I don't want to go into the configuration of Tailwind. That will just waste my in prettier, and that will just waste my time. It's in JSON, so I can't really get much help from TypeScript either. Let's just keep it this way for now, and then later on we will do that. Laser. Ah, man, how are you? This is a new user, so I'm always happy to see someone new commenting. Sorry if I mispronounce any of your name. Making full stack app in Vanilla.js is pure torture. That's a very opinionated. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I agree with you, because I would rather work in one language than two for a full stack app. If I have the option to use Nuxt.js or Next.js, I'll probably use that, unless I know that my application needs more than just a basic application. The thing with Next.js and Nuxt.js is that it's good for small applications where you just need a server. For example, you just want to process some data, you want to process the payments and the basic stuff, then it's good. But if you have long running queues or anything that takes more than 5 minutes, because I think the longest running time on Next.js is 5 minutes, because these are basically serverless functions that are being called. And in the project that I've done recently, none of them really was falling in the category of Next.js. But again, yeah, it makes sense. Vanilla JavaScript, you're correct. I'm not too sure if you ask me to type code in JavaScript, I will be able to even run that. I'm so dependent on TypeScript and types inferences and all that I'm always looking for my IDE and Copilot to do the job. It makes you lazy, but that's good because it's the age of AI. I'm a Vue.js developer, learning couple of months. Welcome, man. You probably chose one of the you chose one of probably my favorite framework. The learning curve is so simple. I'm not too sure if you're using the composition API or options API, But if you're just starting off, you can even go with the options API, though I don't use it anymore. As long as I was using Vue 2 since 2017, I've been with options API. And now I really don't want to jump into options API because the freedom that composition API gives you, um, it's just different. It's not that one is better than another. It's just that the composition API is something that you can really. So if you're in Vue and then you want to learn React or vice versa, composition API is more like a middle ground where you can easily shift between frameworks. So that's one of the reasons why I will be using composition API. I'm using both. That's very good. I would say just get the concepts of options API and then switch to the composition API and just use it. Unless you're working on a project which is written in Vue 2, which mostly happens if you get a job. Most of the time, they're using the old stack, and now suddenly you were learning something, advanced, and all of a sudden you fall back to a framework which is, like an old version of it. That sucks. But yeah. The first I use option API. Yeah, you're on right track. Go with options API. Just master all the 7 or 8 options that there are, from data to computed to methods and all. The only thing that will bother you a lot is the way reactivity works in Vue. So do not go with JavaScript, because in JavaScript, if for example you hover over products, you cannot tell whether this is reactive or not. For example, if I say const down here, const, let's say x is equal to products dot value, and now I hover over x, you can see it is still active, right? But if I take a value out of it, let's say name, okay, or imagine that name was an object itself. Now, as soon as I destruct it, the reactivity is lost. It's not reactive anymore. So now, when you're working with these nested objects, and you always keep losing the reactivity. That was one of the issues that I had with composition API, that it took me a lot of time to really get my head around how reactivity works and how to make sure you don't lose reactivity, especially when you're using store. So for example, I'm diving more into the fundamentals of Vue, but this is something that you'll probably thank me later. So for example, you have a const name is equal to ref, and ref, for example, is John Doe, right? So name is supposed to be reactive, right? But that by reactive, what I mean is, if I say name dot value is something else, for example, John Fu, its value should change, right? Maybe I should import ref. So its value will change. Within store, it will, but as soon as you export it, if you're using a functional store, normally the store is an object, so you define getter and setters and all those things, but this is a function, so I like to do it because this way the code I write here is same as the code that I write within my component. So let me just go ahead and export, return this one. And let me show you what I really mean. This is something that had me crazy for a few days. So right now, if you hover over it, it's a ref. It's not just a simple variable, it's a reference. And if I try to access that in my component, name is, okay, it's not used. So let's just use name, console.log name. And here you'll notice that name is just a string. It's not a ref anymore. But again, if you don't know about it, it's just that when it's just a string, it's not reactive anymore. So if the value of name changes over there, the console log or wherever I'm calling name, it won't change. So for those, if you're using this syntax, normally what I do is I import my methods separately, and then I import my names separately, and then I wrap my use store with store to refs. And now if I hover over name, you can see name is not just a string, it's a ref. So the only thing that you'll have to spend a lot of time on in Vue 3 is making sure how you mentally map reactivity. And the more you code in composition API, the more you will know how it works. Because under normal circumstances, sometimes I would write code, I'll import, even without destructuring it, just use store dot name, and it just wouldn't make sense that why it is reactive and why it is not. So again, going too deep into it, but again, you get the idea. um, that's one thing that can really piss you off straight away, and you would be like, I don't want to use a composition API anymore. But once you master this little hurdle, it just becomes easy. Vue 3 was the biggest event for Vue. I still remember the hype in 2020. It is actually, you're absolutely right. But I think it took me almost a year before I adopted Vue Composition API. One of the reasons was my primary project that I was working on was in Vue 2. We are still using Vue 2.7 for certain reasons. And we are slowly migrating to Vue 3. Vue was very popular if you remember the 2020 era. It was more popular than React or any of these new frameworks, and that was one of the reasons I really jumped into Vue, because everybody was loving it. But then it lost its shine because of Vue 3. Vue 3 came, and suddenly from Options API, you have a new syntax, and not many developers were willing to give into that, give up on their Options API. And again, these small things like the refs, the way they work, and all of that, you don't really need to worry about these if you're using Composition, if the Options API. If you have a computed or you have a data property, it will always be reactive. But in Vue 3, in larger application, you really, this takes a lot of time if you're not going through the documentation. Some of my fellow developers, they were like really struggling with the comprehension, how to comprehend the reactivity between the files and between store and between the composables. But again, once you master these, it's probably the best thing you can do. It just makes your life a lot easier. But anyways, I actually chose Vue into 2020, but switched to React in 2021. Makes sense. I feel like if you joined Vue or got into Vue at that era, that's where most people, that's where the graph of Vue kind of started to fall down. I don't know if Google Trends would tell you, Google Trends, but that's a good way of looking at it. I haven't used it for so long. Let's just say Vue. Oh man, why is it using Thai language? I'm not in Thailand, in worldwide. So you see, 2024. No, not 2024. I want to go further back. How do I change the 2004 to present? That's better. Wow, actually it's better. Now it's going up. I don't know if this is even what matrix is it, but since 2023, it's not even Vue. What is it? Sorry, my apologies. I don't know how it messed up my search term. Let's just say Vue.js. Even I don't know how to use trend. Yeah. So you could see like from 2016 till 2020, it was pretty high. And then there was a sudden dump. And this dump was mainly due to Vue 3. And now you can expect this because now it's like constant. It's not that it's going down, it's constant because there are so many other options in market these days. And people are moving towards meta frameworks than the front end. So as opposed to that, if you look at Nuxt.js, you'll see its popularity going up, hopefully. Yeah, quite consistent, but kind of going up. And you could also kind of imagine that people won't use Vue unless they're building something only client side. They would normally go for something that is both server side and client side, which is Nuxt.js, which is also a Vue framework, same as Next for React. But anyways, coming back to the point, again, the framework and all of these things, they don't really matter. I'm doing the same thing I would have done, for example, in React. I would have just used use state instead of ref. It does the same thing. So shifting between the frameworks, it's just about if you know one framework well, you can do it within 2 or 3 weeks. It's that simple. but it's better to master one than waste your time. So all right, we got this load data method here, and it is getting the data. I will probably put it in a try catch. That's what I like to do usually. Otherwise, I won't know if anything goes wrong with my backend. And for now, I'll just console log error. Otherwise, I would just extract the error. And we have the data, and let's just do these two things as well. So we are kind of there already. Okay, now this is interesting. I don't really know what to do here onward. So how should I structure it? I'll probably keep coding within this component, and then slowly I'll break it down. So I need a table. I need the head PR times, let's say 5, but I don't know. Okay, why won't it work? Anyways, let's just say tr. How many columns do I have? For that, I'll have to go to my types, products. We have name. I don't think showing description is a good idea. So name, price, stock, and category. 4 and 1 for the action, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put this one aside so I can copy these. So we have name. I'll just hard code everything for now. Description. Sorry, my keyboard, my microphone is blocking my field for the keyboard. So the SCRIPTIO in description. Then we have price. Then we got stock, and then we got the category. I'll probably put category over there. I'll take off description, and I'll leave the last one blank for the actions. And let's just copy that. And this one, yeah, let's just go ahead and do what we're supposed to do here. So we have the products here, and I'm going to put a loop on product. So we for product in products, and key is going to be equal to product.id. Why am I not getting type inference here? Product.id. Product is possibly null. Is our product going to be null? How is it going to be null? Where is my types? Product. Okay. Product cannot be null. Can it be null? No, I don't think so. Okay, let's take a look at the types again. So we have products, and okay, sorry, it's products.data, not the product itself. So, and products can be null. Yeah. So for that, I will just simply put a condition for now at any parent would work. Let's just say if we have the products, then we are going to do it. Otherwise, we won't display the table. That's a bad logic. We'll fix it later on. So for product in products, let's just display product.name. And I'll probably just do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second one is category dot name. And what if we don't have category? I should fix that actually. There is a case that we don't have a category. So I'll take this type up, and I'll create a new type. Export type category. C has to be capital for the sake of consistency. And ID is going to be a number. and name is going to be a string. And my category is going to be either null or a category, an array of category. No, it's one category. Sorry, it's a one-to-one relationship. A product can only have one category. So if that is good, then we should get an error here. We are getting the error, which means we can go ahead and do two things here actually. This one, and if we don't have the category, then let's just display a dash just for the sake of some data over there. And then I can say price, but I also need to format the price, which I will do later. But again, formatting doesn't matter for the sake of this tutorial. And let's just say a button. Let's just say delete. If everything is okay, we should get the data. We are getting the data. The user don't care about the framework. They just want to do things they want to do. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, on what visa do you want to Thailand? No. Thailand doesn't have a digital nomad visa. Um, that's one of the issues with Thailand. You can't really stay here longer, but I'm student here. So I'm doing my master's degree as well as I work online. So I'm in Thailand, I am as a student. So I'm here for around one more year, 1.5 year, because I arrived here in July last year. Student visa is good. You can come here, you can study as well as you can go around and travel. Otherwise, if they had digital nomad visa, I would probably have done that. But since I had only graduated last year, so I thought right after my bachelor's, I'll just jump into another degree. Actually, I never thought I would do it, but still I went on with that. So yeah, life is funny. Sometimes the things you don't plan for, you end up doing that. Why can't you see my oh, I can see your message now. Yeah, I can. Sorry if I missed your message. Maybe I should check my YouTube. Oh, yeah, I can see your message actually on YouTube as well. Sorry. Actually, I don't have two monitors. I'm using just my laptop. I really need to get another monitor, but I still am not convinced with any of because I'm used to my 34-inch ultra wide one. But I switched countries, and now I'm at a new place completely, and I don't want to carry a big monitor because when I have to change my condo, it becomes a big mess, a huge luggage to carry. So for those reasons, I'm more used to of just using my laptop. But I now, since I'm streaming, I need to really get into get another monitor. Sorry, sometimes it's very hard to focus on streaming as well as coding. But again, we'll just go ahead with it. So our types are helping us. We have a delete button. Maybe we should style it. Again, styling is not my main concern. I mean, like I don't send them, but I send them. Oh, okay. Where are you from, Mr. I don't know. Is your name Laser? Since I came to Thailand, names are very difficult here. So everyone has a nickname. That's a fun fact about Thailand. If you meet Thai people, they're super nice, and they always have a nickname. So I really don't know the real names of my friends, and they really cannot pronounce my full name. So we always, so it's like a kind of a culture now to use the nicknames of everyone. So let's see if my message appear. Yeah, it does, man. It does. Uh, I have to like click on it, and then your message goes on to screen. By the way, I was hoping there would be a way to really just synchronize the messages on screen, but there isn't any. But anyways, so now the goal is to convert. Okay, let me think about it. I don't want to reinvent the wheel because I've already solved this problem once. Um, but I think I should go ahead and create a data table component, and then I should start from there. Otherwise, it will be hard to manage. So I have my components, and let's delete all the default components. And the new file will be datatable.vue. And this will be interesting because now this is the component itself. So let's just say script. And that's the beauty of live coding. I really don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't even have a design or anything. But and language is going to be equal to TypeScript, and this will be a script setup. And then I need my template. I don't know why my IDE is acting so weird, because probably I have configured my other project. The setting that I have is for only that project, so it's not being replicated here. But anyways, let's just put it a div so linter will stop yelling at us. Yeah. Why is it showing this error there? The component database. Oh yeah, true. Let's say does it fix? It won't. Should be a multi-word. This is one of the restriction from my. Okay, let's just say data table. Will that work? Now again, this is nothing to worry, but ESLint wants me to have a multi-word name. So let's just say data table. Usually in Vue, it is recommended that you use the camel case instead of snake case for the names. But again, I will change this later. I don't want to get too deep into this one. Hello, Akash Kumar. Welcome. Good to have you. Good to have some Indian audience. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a lot of it if I keep streaming. I wrote about my GitHub profile, laser157. Maybe it blocks. Oh, okay. I see. I got your point. Yeah, probably. I'm not too sure if I've done any settings for it, but I'm not blocking any comments or all by myself. Maybe it's just the YouTube algorithm itself. All right, I'm going to write my data table. My data table, let's just copy it and let's just try to slowly break it down without making too many mistakes. My data table should have the head because I want to pass the columns to my data table, but it should not have it should actually not even be in the head T body. But it should not have these things. It should provide a cover for body, or maybe it shouldn't even provide a cover for body. Maybe I'll create a couple more components here. And let's just call it table-head dot view table-body dot view. Again, I'm just using the hello, it's Ankon and love from India. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I'm suddenly having a lot of Indian audience. Good to have you guys around. I hope you're coding in Vue, because this stream is all about Vue. I'll be doing streams on React and other stuff as well. But for now, this is my third stream, by the way, if you don't know. So there is one component that I wanted to build a data table for Vue. And the idea is to just build that to share myself while I build it. So, I can just produce some content and build along the way. So we have, again, don't worry too much about the, okay, let's just remove that. And let's just define some props here. So I don't even need props. So define props. Now this is going to be interesting because the way I define props is very different from many people that I've seen. I would like to go all TypeScript. So first I will define a type. Props is equal to, what should we name it? Data. And this is going to be of type any, not any actually. This is interesting. I really have no idea how I'm going to handle the typing between the components. Or if you give me so we'll get the data, but we don't really know. We don't want to restrict the type of data, right? So how should that play out? Um, Okay, let's just for now say any. Okay. This is probably the worst thing I can do, but again, still, let's just say any, and let's just give it a type of props. Okay, and it's going to be an array of any, for example. At least it will be an array. And then I need columns. The columns is going to be, let's define another type here. Type calls or column, let's say column. And this is going to be equal to, so most of the time I spend more time defining the types, because once you have type, then it becomes a simple game for you, right? Because you know what it is. But if your types are wrong, and then all your logic building will be wrong as well. So I have a type column, and it's going to have name, or we can also call it label. It is going to be, yeah, let's just say, what does it suggest me? Should I call it name or label? Let's just call it name. And the second will be sortable, and it will be a Boolean. And by default, it should be false. But we can deal with that logic later, but it's not required. The only thing that is required is string, the name of the table. What else do we have? Okay. And then we can say here, it's a string of columns. We can add more types if needed. Let me just format it. Okay. So we got our props. Let's pass the props to the defined props. And well, if you have any question how I'm doing this one, do tell me. And then I want to define the default value as well for my data. But my data will always be required. The columns will always be required. So if I don't pass the data in column, it will throw error on the parent component. And let's just do that. Let's just comment all of it. Let's import data table from component/datatable.view. Again, I'm so concerned about the naming, but since ESLint won't let me name that the way I want to, I'll just keep it like that. And then I can go down here. Let me just wrap it in a main tag so I have more control over it. I can now say data table. And you can see straight away it throws errors. That's the beauty of TypeScript. So I'm going to pass it two properties. As you can see here, one is data and the other is columns. And the data is going to be products. Oh, okay. Normally what I would do is products.data, which contains the data, right? So products.data is basically where our data is, and it's an array. Okay, now this is interesting. All right. I'm not going to pass it the data. I'll pass it the entire resource, which isn't the way that I've done it, but I think we can make it work. And let's just call the prop resource. Let's go to the data table and let's call it resource. And instead of any resource, it will be a Laravel resource. And let's just for now say any. But we'll fix this any later on. Or maybe I can just give it a type T, but that won't work. Because the parent this child component won't know what's the type of data that's coming through. So anyways, the only thing that matters really is this one. the Laravel resource. All right, I have 5 viewers on my YouTube, which is good, and 1 on Twitch, which is interesting. I don't know who is watching me on Twitch, by the way, because I just set up my Twitch. I didn't even stream on Twitch for last few days for the last 2 stream that I did. So give me a moment. I just need to double check my notifications and then I'll get back to the stream. All right. By the way, how many of you guys, if you're still here, how many of you use TypeScript, and how many of you are just a JavaScript developer? I would be happy to know that. There are some errors going through, but that's okay. We don't really care too much about them. We just want to make sure that our types are clear. So we have name, sortable, we have the resource, we have the columns, an array of columns. So what we can do here is we can loop over the columns. So I'll say we for column in columns. And key is going to be, now this is very risky, but if but I'll just say column.name, making sure that we never have the same name on the column because I don't have any ID or any unique attribute anyways. All right, I understand the error. Let's not bother too much about that. And oh, actually, this is going to be on my TD. And this is going to be, sorry, the name will become column dot name. No TypeScript error here, which means it's should be good. What do we have here? All right, don't worry too much about them. And over here, let's go ahead and define our columns. I can simply say const columns. I don't need to make it a ref or a reactive property. Mostly use JavaScript. Where can I send you a link to check quickly my project? You can go to my Instagram if you can. That would be easy for you, easy for me. I don't really know what do you want to show me in your project, but I would love to if I can give any feedback. You can go to my YouTube. In fact, you're on my YouTube. There is already Instagram linked to my YouTube, so you can go ahead and text me. I'll just take a look at that. Mostly use JavaScript. If you have been doing JavaScript for a year or more, then I would highly suggest you to move to TypeScript because it really changes the way you code. Anyways, let's get back to the columns and define our columns. One thing that I do know about my columns is that it is of type columns, right? But where is my column type? It's right here. So I want to use it in this component, so it's better if I just make it global. So for now, I'll just throw it in the index file, but later on we can refactor it and place it somewhere else. So export file column, and this goes there. And now I need to import my column from my types. And also in my parent component, I can say column, and this is going to be an array of column. And now TypeScript will help me. And it does. Actually, it's Copilot which is helping me. But anyways, okay. Key is also another thing that I want with my table. Good job, Copilot. So I want the key. What key really means, this will also be optional. Key will be the key will be what we will use in sync with the backend. All right. You'll get to know that later. For example, category.name means that in database or in the backend. For backend, if you want to say, sort by category, we'll have to tell category.name. But it comes into picture later on, so just ignore that for now. And let's just make all of these sortables, if that would be easy. Sortable is going to be true. Let's just say true. You too. I want to make this one sortable as well. I need one more column though. And that would be the actions column. And I'll just give it a blank name. No need to give it key and no need to give it anything else. So what issue do we have here? So we are not using columns. So here we can say columns. And my resource has some issues. What is the issue? The expected types come from property resource, which is declared here on partial. The data null undefined string null. Null is not assignable to type. Okay, I see. What's the issue? For this one, I can basically just wrap it. In fact, instead of wrapping that, or in fact, I can just wrap it in a div. And I can put an if statement here. So if I have the products, then I'll go ahead and render my table. Otherwise, I won't. That should fix the issue. So if everything is okay, which, yeah, it seems like it. If everything is okay, then our data table component should be rendered. And we should be able to see the columns. But we won't be able to see any data because we're not looping on the data anymore. I sent on Instagram. I'm not professional. I'm just second-year student. That's good. The younger you are, the more opportunities you have to learn. So welcome to coding then. I'll look at your message straight away. Copy. Do you want me to take a look at your project right now? Unless you don't want me. Until then, I'll test my code. I need your permission. I just don't want to show your code to everyone if that is the case. So you can see we have the name, category, price, stock. Perfect. We can do a few things here. For the sake of styling, because we do have the data table going on, but it's not looking good enough. So here on my table, let's give it a few classes. First one will be width of. Now I don't. Now I'm using Tailwind, so I can just type W dash. Why is it not helping? W dash. Can I get the width LG or something like that? Width dash full? No, LG. Maybe we'll just give it manually a width of, for example, 1000 pixels. Not a good idea, but anyways. And to my table, I can always give it a class of, I think it's table. Is it table? How to give table a class? It's already display table, so I can just say width full. And then, as you can see, it's working. And let's just say a border for now, just for the sake of clarity, where things are standing. Border dash red, and let's just give it. Okay, it's not red, but we still have a border. Okay, that's good. So let's just center it. For that, I can go back here and I can say margin X auto. Why is it not working? Where am I giving margin X auto here? Okay, but it's not coming through, is it? Oh, sorry. I just messed it up. It should be over here. Yeah, it's good now. And let's just give this guy a bit of styling as well. Text dash center, font dash bold, and let's just say text dash 3XL. Do we even have 3XL in TypeScript in Tailwind? Yeah. And let's give this guy a few classes. It's getting dirty, but anyways, styling is not really our main concern here. Let's just say py-8 or 10. So we have 40 pixels from top and bottom. And I can give it a margin bottom of say 8, which is 32 pixels. I can send code from GitHub, but link doesn't work. I'll send on Instagram too. I got your Instagram. Do you want me to show your project, open your project right here? Because I didn't get it. What do you want me to do? I think I've got your link already. I hope it's nothing nasty, is it? No. Okay, nice. Find your code, front and back. Oh, nice. So it's a simple okay, nice. I can see you're using TypeScript and you don't have any errors going through, which is also good. You have a login thing going on as well. Sign up instead. Cool, cool, cool. Are you using Vuetify or what are you using here? Because the animations are pretty smooth. Okay. Yeah, you're using Vuetify. It feels like. Yeah, man, good job. Good job. I think you're on a good track. So you have these tags. What are you using in the backend? Is it request going to the backend or no? So you're doing on the front end. That's cool. I see. Nice, 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 nice. Do you need any suggestions or if there is anything in particular you want to ask? Oh, nice, Firebase. Oh, transition, the default one. That's cool if you just pulled out this transition because they look very smooth actually. I'm not really a designer. I'm more of a developer. So, when I see people putting a bit of effort in these small details, it's good. Firebase, nice. Yeah, Firebase is good. You can, because if your focus is front end, then keep your focus on front end until you really want to dive into back end. So good job, man. Another thing I want to see here. Yeah, you could probably do a bit with the memory because it's taking like 115 MBs, but that's really not a thing for a beginner to really worry about. As long as your code is working, that's great. View details. Oh, you also have details. Cool. So is this your first project? Or you're doing it for fun, or you want to really take this to and build a SaaS application or something? Good to see it, man. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing and letting me go through it. Refresh. Nice. You would be a good designer. I can just say it. There are things. Again, I think it's more like a front end, just a Vue project, but still, I think you managed to pull off good details here. Contact. This page is not found. Check out our coaches. Okay, sounds good. You can also slowly start jumping into Nuxt.js. The benefit of jumping into Nuxt right now, as soon as you have your Vue up and running, is because then you are doing everything on full stack. So you're still learning Vue, and Vue you can do that, but at the same time you're also getting into the server side as well. So, but again, there are a lot of details, small things you need to learn before you jump into Nuxt. So if you feel like why Nuxt, then don't jump in straight away, but eventually you can. I want to land a job. Keep going if if you keep giving 3, 4, 5 hours a day, depending on how much time you have, um, job won't be too far, man. Um, but I can't send you code on Instagram. Only one message to you. Oh, sorry. I'll reply you. Then you can. So you want a code review? Okay, I can do that for you. Why not? Um, yeah, you can send me the link to code or whatever. If it's public, then you can just tell me your GitHub name, and I can laser157. I can go there, github.com/laser157. I got it. Yeah, man, keep building this, because this is something that I wish I do, because I really don't get to contribute too much to open source because of my commitments with my studies and with my work. But yeah, I mean, make sure you fill this up, keep filling this up. Because as a recruiter, this is one of the things that, like, for example, if I come there and I see a lot of greens here, it will make me think like, yeah, this guy is very active. If you don't have a job, but if you already have a job and you're doing a job, then as a recruiter you'd be like, okay, this guy doesn't have much time to to do much on the. You're on the wrong page. Okay. Lazar. I'm so sorry, man. um Laser 157. Oh, much better. So you see, just make sure you keep building it, because this is still better than my GitHub, actually. That is one of the reason I'm doing streaming now, so I can do some something for the open source community as well. And because I code pretty much every day, and still my GitHub is not as good as it should be. Find a coach app. Okay. um why didn't you code after 3 weeks, man? I can still see a few things you can do. So just keep doing it. Continue working on it. You're using store. What are you using for store? Hmm. Oh, you're using Vuex. So this is okay. If you ask me for suggestion what to do, convert your Vuex store to Pinia. You can actually do both Pinia and Vuex in one project, so you don't really need to just uninstall Vuex. You can just install Pinia and do your stores through Pinia. It's good to have Vuex experience, but again, this is now nobody uses Vuex. And even if you go to Vuex, you can see Pinia is the new default. So using Vuex is more like you're using an ancient technology. Um, like, I don't remember when was the last time I wrote a Vuex store. Like, for one store you have to like write 4 files, which you can pretty much see over here as well, like 4 files for one store. Which you can do in one as well, but again, not really my taste anymore. I used to write. I cannot send code today. Oh, perfect. I had this project a long time ago, but now on GitHub. The best advice I can give you is just keep doing it. You cannot learn to code overnight, and you're kind of a lifelong student. I've been doing it for over 10 years, and still I feel like, when I look up to programmers and developers who do much better than me, I feel like I still have a lot to do. Would you guys excuse me just for 1 second? I need to grab some drinks. By the way, it's just tea. It's just a black tea, cold black tea, because I cannot make the warm hot tea right now. So yeah, the best advice that I can give you, or anyone can give you, is to. But anyways, who is watching me on Twitch? I'm surprised because I just set it up, and whoever you are, man, you should comment, because you're the first person to watch me from Twitch. Okay. So yeah. Sorry, I'm lost in a 3 or 4 things. So uh, I'll give you the advice to install Pinia within this project, and then move your methods from the So for example, you have the auth store here. So all you have to do is just export these methods, just copy and paste these methods into your Pinia store. And then you can slowly move from one to another. And that is the best thing. I had a big project. In fact, we had a big project that we had to move from Vuex to Pinia, and it was um, my first impression was that it would be impossible because we have hundreds and thousands of these methods that we are calling from the store. But then when we knew that it's basically you can use both of them together, Pinia and Vuex, that was quite that was probably the best thing that the Vue team did. That they don't force you to shift to migrate to Vuex. As opposed to that, there's a library called FormKit. If you're working on Vue and you need forms, this is what you should be using. So this is for Vue 3. For Vue 2, they had Vue formulate.com. So they had formulate for Vue 2, and then when they moved to Vue 3, when Vue 3 came out, they created a completely new library for Vue 3. And there is no simple way to just migrate from FormKit to Vue 3. So, and we have like more than 2,000 instances of formulate input, and that's the only reason we are still using Vue 2.7 and not Vue 3 on one of our projects, one of our big projects actually. So whenever you choose a dependency or a third-party package, this is also a lesson. Try to go with the newer ones or whatever has the back of the community. Otherwise, you will have a lot of troubles just migrating from one to another if you want to maintain a project in the longer run. But for the learning sake, it's okay. So coming back to our data table, I'll just close your application. Again, thank you so much for showing it to me. I hope the next time I see it, it will be an even better one. It's already good, actually. Because if you started it a few weeks ago, then definitely you made it already a long way. I can later on do a code review if you want. I can do that as well. But I'll leave that for now. Because code is again something very subjective. If it works, it works, and later on with time you can keep improving it. So what we've got here is our data table. We're displaying the columns, right? One thing I can do is apply a bit of styling. Really, it will be cluttering my UI, but let's just say background gray, 100. And let's just give it a py of 2 and px of 2, maybe py of, yeah, let's just give it 2. Enough for now. And now I can move on to my body, which is going to be the bigger issue. So now, as you can see, all I need is just give the resource in columns to my data table, and it is displaying the head for now. I can make it even more cleaner by just having it in one line. All right. So let's go back here and have our T body here. T body. And now this is where things get interesting. Now the question is, do you want to pass the data to the data here and then want the data table component to take care of displaying the data? Not really. What I'll do here is I'll just say slot. And let's just give it a name of body. And in my parent component, I can go ahead. First, let me reformat it because it won't auto format for some reasons. Yeah, as you can see, it is already suggesting me. So this is exactly what I want to do. So I have a slot now. So now I can design my body in the parent component, which is exactly what I want. Because, for example, this could be an image. This could be a column that I really want to have a different view and all. So I can just do that. So this should do the job. And it does. Let's add a bit of styling, which again I am kind of hating it already, to give it styles. Or maybe I should just go ahead and give. Again, I'm using Tailwind, and if you're using Tailwind, it is not really the. So I'll get to that. Let me just type styles here. I cannot use Sass. Can I use Sass? Um, I'm not too sure because I haven't installed Sass in my project. Sass. And let's just say, let's just say TD. And I can also improve on one more thing, and that is the TD in my head. It should be a TH. Okay, I have a message, but I'll continue on from here. Maybe I should switch back to my stream. Yeah, thank you too. I'm heading off now. I'm doing 3-4 months Vue, not weeks. Okay, cool. No worries, man. Always welcome to join the stream. I would probably be streaming around this time, but again, you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I would be willing to help anywhere I can. Again, anyone who comes in the chat, it's glad to see you all. Sorry, guys, I'm just texting. So okay, yeah, so we have this issue. I want to use Sass, but Sass is not installed, so I can either add Sass, which I will probably do. Normally, you should just, write your TypeScript within it, but again, I want this to be as headless as possible. So I have 3 more messages. I'm thinking to become digital nomad. I did research about Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Thailand is way cheaper than any country in Southeast Asia. That is kind of true, but sadly, that doesn't have. I think you can go for Malaysia because they have the digital nomad visa. I think if you're making more than $1,500 or $2,000, you can just get the visa. Thailand is the big issue with Thailand is definitely the visa, but it's a lovely place to live. Bangkok is expensive. It's pretty expensive compared to other parts of Thailand. But again, if money is not your concern, then it's a place where people come from all over the globe, and it's a place where you can find pretty much everything. No matter what kind of lifestyle you want, you'll probably get it here. I have another. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but hello, good to have you here. Really happy to have you here, actually. So, what else do we have here? By the way, we are coding in Vue. If if you don't already know, we're just trying to build a Vue component for data tables, and slowly it's just coming together. I didn't expect myself to be this efficient so far, but it is going pretty well, actually. Anyways, so I just want to target my TD. It would be I'd be wasting time if I do anything else. Let's just say apply. I try to avoid apply because it's not really encouraged by TypeScript, but since our project is very small, I'll just keep my CSS separate. So I have px and py. That should do a bit of job here. Yeah, it gives a bit of padding and all. What are we missing, really? Maybe I should maybe target it more explicitly so I can do a couple of things here. T body, T body, and then within T body I can target TR, and child. How to say the odd child, nth child odd. Then I'm going to apply the background on TD, not the TR. For some reason, I don't know. I don't like to give the background to the TR. But anyways, okay, we have a nice script. Maybe I should go with even so we don't mess up. Okay, sounds good. Looks good so far. Another thing I can do is I can target the hover state. And hover, I can give it, again, it doesn't really matter, but still, let's just give it 200. So yeah, we have got it going. So now the next thing, if we go back to our drawing, so we have the basic design of the table. Now we need to implement the load more. I'm from Vietnam. I'm a new dev. Hope to learn a lot from you. Vietnam, very close to me. I'm actually in Bangkok right now in Thailand. So good to have some Southeast Asians. We had a few Indian followers, Suleiman and a couple of other guys from Pakistan as well. I don't know where Laser was from, but we are slowly building an audience. Although I don't have too many concurrent users, viewers actually. But again, I'm not really concerned too much about that anyway. So let's go back. I'll put your comment on stream. So we have this table. I think I can still improve this in a way that Vuetify does it. So if I don't overwrite my body, then it will display the default data. But again, a couple of things here. We are taking this data from our local component. And so in a way, I'm still dependent on my local component, and that should not be the case. I should be able to get the props from here. So I really have forgotten how to pass props in Vue to the slot. So where is it? Can I pass data like here? Rows is equal to resource dot data. Okay. For now, another thing that kind of bothers me is the data type. I really need to be able to tell the data type to pass the data type somehow, but we'll figure that out later. So if I'm a little lost right now. Instead of products.data, it will be from rows. And I need to get the rows from my slot. Is it slot props? Okay, let's just check the Vue documentation. I saw your video on YouTube about the JavaScript developer lifecycle. It's high quality content if you continue making these videos. I think so. The only issue is that I don't really. I'm too lazy. I'm trying to find more time. Unfortunately, I really need to find more time. And I'm doing the streaming just to get used to of producing content. And once I get into a rhythm, then I think, and I get used to, and I may make a few acquaintances or a few people get to know me on while I stream. Then it will be a different experience. So yeah, I think that I can produce a lot of good content, but again, it's a matter of time. So up until July, I want to just keep it simple because in July I will be free with my university work, so I'll have more time to put on something. And if by that time I'm still streaming, I'll probably do that. So Vue.js slots. Slot prop. So these are called scoped slots. You can pass the data like this, which I'm already doing. And okay, I have to go between the notifications every now and then, but anyways. So how does it work? So we have the div, we have the slot. Okay, my component template slot. We're passing it in. My component to slot prop. I'm not getting it for some reasons. Reslot slot props. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of getting used to seeing the notifications while I stream. The first day I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. But anyways, so we have scope slot, name slot. So this is my parent template, my component. Mm-hmm. Okay, passing the default slot. But this is JSX, I think. Anyways, we slot. Oh, okay. We can do it this way. So you can just put the equal to, really, that simple. Body is equal to slot props. But it is never used. Okay. Or maybe I should just say rows. Can I destruct it? Yeah, it's taking it well. It's an array of any, which is exactly what I'm passing here. Array of any. So we have got it pretty much. And what that lets me do is now, instead of depending on my local data, I'm passing the data to the component, and then the component is passing the data back to me, if that makes sense. So now I'm not really referring to products. I'm only passing products once, and then I get the rows and I loop over the rows. And if everything is okay, we should see the same response as it is. But the only problem here is the type, which I don't have any logical explanation of how that is going. How long have I streamed, by the way? Oh wow, 120 already. But anyways, I'll quickly go ahead and try to get the because the JavaScript problems are all solved, but the TypeScript problem is still there. Either I can just assume the type here, for example, rows as product as type of products dot data, and that would no in rows. No, it won't actually do it. Okay, I see. But anyways, this is not the way I want to do it anyways. I really want to somehow be able to let's just say let's just try to define type here. Let's see if we can do that. But this is really not the ideal way. As won't work here. As does not exist. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm just destructuring it. Body. Let's see the documentation from Vue. TypeScript. Is there any no documentation for types at all? Logically, it doesn't make sense to be passing types to the component because the component really won't know. The problem really starts here. I don't know if one of you can figure out what the issue is. So it's not a bug. It's a type issue which I want to solve, and it's not easy to solve because we are explicitly telling it that a resource can be any. What if I do t here? It won't work because t is nothing here. Even if I pass t from that's logically incorrect as well. So is there any way in the world that I can get the type from the prop? No, that's not quite possible. So let's not worry too much about that yet. Let's just try to type this one. So in rows, I don't know. I really don't know the TypeScript syntax here. As product won't work. Product. Wait for product in rows. I just want to typecast this to product, which won't do the job. Conversion type any to product may be a mistake. Okay, I see. Array of products. Now it will work. For example, if I say name X, it's going to give me an error, which it does. But this really is not the way. This is not the way that I want this to work. It really bothers me. I really need to find a way to pass the type between the components in the back into the child component. Or I can assume that whatever I'm passing to this one, if I don't know the type of that, I can say type of products.data. Will this work? No, products.data is any products.data. Products and data. Anyways, let's just keep it as it is, as this. So every time we do, is there any better way that I could think of? I'll take a couple of minutes to think because I don't want to skip it. But again, I don't want to waste too much time on this because we are still getting the types. We can still guarantee that at this point we will know the type. And it's not really making any difference anyways because we just need type for the sake of for making sure that we don't make any mistake here. You don't use ChatGPT? Very rarely. Very rarely. If I were to use something, I would just use my Copilot. So I'll be like, how to pass type to a child component in Vue. But again, it's not really something that, because I think I feel like I've read through the Vue documentation altogether. And normally I would do this thing, but I just feel like maybe there is a way. Where is our child component? Oh no. It really didn't get me. How can I edit this? TypeScript type. You can define the type in child, which we are doing here. So datatable is our child, and we are defining that the resource will be a Laravel resource. Like this will be the type of it. And we are leaving this one any because in this particular case, we are sending products, right? The resource is basically a Laravel resource object with products. But it could be anything. It could be users. The data could be anything, right? So we don't want to restrict this to be of a certain type. For example, if I say number, now it will throw me an error here, right here, you know? So so that's why I'm keeping it any, but any is really not the right thing to do. It works well. It will work fine again, because again, this will always change. What we are displaying in the data table, that will always change. What do we have here? So we have the parent component. I want. Oh, is my internet working fine? Yeah. But anyways, we got it working. I'll look in my spare time to, because sometimes I'm kind of a perfectionist sometimes. So yeah. But anyways, we got that working, which sets us up in a very nice position. So this is literally a reusable component now. So as long as the data is in the format of Laravel resource object, in this format, this will just go ahead, give you all the types, and you can just loop over it. The only pain point which I would like to improve on is this one, because I'm manually assuming the type of the product. Again, ideally what it should be able to do is I pass it the product, and then it takes the type of that and then gives it to me. Okay, let's try something else here in my data table. Where is my resource type? Any. Um, console.log. Okay, I can simply say on mounted. This again is a desperate measure just to see will it work, but it won't. But still, I would like to see type of resource. Why is it not accessing? Sorry. Sorry, did I make a mistake here? No, sorry, not yet. What happened? I did mess up something actually. Props. Okay, yeah, props. It's okay. So we have the resource, but yeah, let's just say const props is equal to define props. And I can say props dot resource. And I can also say data. It won't be able to, so TypeScript doesn't work on runtime. It only works while you're coding in your IDE, right? So if there was a way to know the type while it runs on the runtime, then it would be very easy. Then we could tell, oh, okay, you know what? The data that is passed to my data table is of a certain type. Let's say it's of a type product or of type user on the runtime. Because this data really is, it comes on the runtime from the backend, not while we compile it. So that is the internet is slow. It should not be. Maybe can you confirm? Is it still same or? Generally, it works fine. Um, Yeah, I think it's working fine. I just checked on my phone. But anyways, now let's go back and just see what the. So you see, it's of type object. Hmm. Um, I don't know. It feels like it's a playground, and I'm trying to play with things. That's what I usually do, and that's probably the best way to learn it. But let's see if we can hack it somehow. So we can resource dot data. But again, it already knows. So if there was a way, it would already have typed it. But what if I do tell it to do it this way as type of props dot? Now this is very silly, but pass rows as type of props dot resource dot data. What do I get here? Now again, this shouldn't work. My TypeScript would be horrible if it does. No, it doesn't. That's good. So I'll just remove it off. But anyways, we got it working to the point where we wanted it. The last thing that I would love to do today is to load more data. So I need to display a button, and I want to do that within my data table. That is also interesting. Now, another thing, normally what I would do is I would create a button under my data table, and I'll handle the load more event in my parent component. But I want data table, since it already knows the entire resource, I want this to take care of loading more. That may just mess up the reactivity in Vue. There is a chance, but I should give it a try anyways. So let's say I have in fact, I don't want to have a button in my table. I can wrap my table in a div, and there I can have another div, or let's just call it footer. Flex justify center button, load more, class is equal to text dash, not primary, not even accent. Actually, I'm just messing up the text dash blue, and sorry, let's just say background dash blue, px dash say 4, and py equals to 1, and rounded dash medium. Why am I not getting any styles on that? Is there even a class? No, not blue. It should be blue and then the weight of it. Let's say 600. Maybe go with 500, and then I also need to give it a text of white. And let's also give some padding. Py of 3, or maybe padding top of let's say 8. And yeah, let's also give it some padding bottom. Let's say 5, or let's be generous and say py of 8. All right, now if I click on my load more, it should load more data from the backend. First of all, just for the sake of a bit of style, sometimes I just want to add more styles, although it's really not the purpose of this tutorial, this video. So hover background dash blue, and let's just make it 800. Okay, let's just put a span here, load more, and let's just manually say loading. And this will be if loading more, which we haven't defined yet. Otherwise else. And we only want to display load more when there is more data to be loaded. And how do we know there is more data to be loaded? And that we know so this is the object that this table has, this shape it has. So there is something called next page URL, this one. So if there is next page URL, which means there is more data to be loaded from that URL. So I'm going to say if resource is what we have here, right? So if resource.nextPage URL, then we load more data. And let's just define loading more and a couple of other things. So const loading more is going to be equal to a ref. By default, there is no loading more. So it will be false. Const load more is going to be an asynchronous function, and this is going to, let's see if ChatGPT did well. Sorry, Copilot did well. Loading more, it will set true and it will set false. See, I use try catch in another method, so it's trying to copy the way I code. This is wrong. I'll say axios dot get props dot resource dot next page URL. We'll fix the errors later, and we don't want to really do that. Actually, we do want to do that. Props dot resource dot data dot push data. Yeah, kind of, yeah. And I also want to say props dot resource dot next page URL is going to be the new next page URL that we get from data. So these are a few things. Then I also need to make sure when we do the load more to avoid all these errors. First of all, load more will only happen if props dot resource dot next page URL. If we have the next page URL, we can just simply negate this. If we don't have the next page URL, then we return. Otherwise, we go on and we fetch more data, and we say props.resource.data. Oh, okay. Props.resource.data. Okay, we can also add another check. This is just to make TypeScript happy. If props.resource.data. Why are you still not happy? Argument string is not assignable to parameter type string. Okay, it can be null. Okay, I see. Not only okay, now at least that works. There was a logical error that I had. So if we don't have the next page URL or the resource doesn't exist, then it should do that. And the push can only be applied on an array, which means it doesn't know if this is an array or not. Unexpected mutation of resource prop dot data. We have an array, right? So okay, does this make you happy? No, it won't. So let's just. Oh, I see. I see what is the issue. Again, we're not really typing it. I would normally have another function which makes this call, so I exactly get the type of it, so I don't really have to bother too much about this one. So, but anyways, let's not do any of these. Let's just console log our data to see if we are fetching more data or not. And then we can go ahead and first import the ref from Vue. Load more is going to be called when I click on this one. So logically it should be here. At click load more. Yeah. And I should also just prevent, although there is no form, but still I would just prevent it. So load more. Okay, at least we should see in the console. Internet is slow. It works fine now. Okay, perfect. Thank you for still staying here, by the way. Okay, my load more is not working. It's at least as of now, it's not working. So let's say console.log load more. Yeah, you're hitting that. We're not passing through this. What if there was no console log? How would I know there is an error? It's such a lifesaver. So it means we're just returning from here. Why are we returning from here? If resource.nextpage URL or, oh, okay. Basic mistakes. Load more. And we do make another request to page 2. And yeah, we'll again make the request to page 2. To avoid that, we again need to do these things. First of all, props.resource.data. Why is it not letting me push? Okay, I see. Yeah, this is the issue with Vue. The issue is we are trying to mutate. We're trying to mutate a prop, and in Vue, data flows only one way. And this is one of the common issues. If you don't have ESLint, it will not throw an error, and everything will still go through. And I'll show you everything will still go through. If I say data dot data, then it will still push the data, and it will still work. But TypeScript and ESLint has saved me here because it could result in unexpected error, which it does most of the time. So you see, when I click on load more, it loads more data. And I have now page 4 here. And I can go as long as I have 100 records, all of them. So now I have all of those records, 100 of them. I don't see load more here. Now, if you're a Vue developer, you have made this mistake. Like I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Like it's a mistake we all make. So how do we avoid this mistake? We don't want to update. We don't want to update the prop. So the simplest solution is actually in Vue 3, which I haven't used it yet. In Vue 3.4, actually, there is a simple way to do it. Component we model Vue. Okay. So we can use this define model macro, but I haven't used it yet, so this is my first time anyways. Starting in 3.4, the recommended approach to achieve this is using the define model. So in the child component, I can say, now this is again, this will restrict my component to be only valid for Vue 3.4, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice for now, and later on maybe I can support the older versions. It's that simple? Really? Normally, you'll have to pass the value prop and listen for input event for the V model to work. But now apparently you can just say model is equal to defined model on your child component. And then in parent, you can just pass it the data. It's simple. It's so simple that I need a few minutes to process it. Function update. So we are saying model. We're just basically updating the model. So we don't really need a prop for this either. Okay, I can do that. Instead of saying define model, I can say resource is equal to define model. I hope it works. And then I can just take this one away. But this is going to cause a bit of issues anyways. I hope I can define types on it, otherwise there will be a bit of issue. But anyways, let's just go ahead with it. You'll see these TypeScript errors because now resource is something else. How can I define type on model? Type script, no TypeScript annotation here. Okay, I think I need to read this documentation in more detail. So the parent bind value is V model. The value returned by define model is a ref. It is associated with mutated like ref dot value synchronized define model. Under the hood, define model is convenient macro. Model value, okay. Props is equal to define props. Okay, I see. If you have a default value for a defined model prop, you cannot provide any value for this prop from the parent component. It can cause, if you have a default value for defined model prop, you don't provide any value from parent, it can cause desynchronization between parent and child. In example below, parent's myref is undefined, but the child model is 1. We're not even doing that. View model title, okay, that is something probably I can do. Title is equal to define model title. Do I need to explicitly tell it? If prop options are also needed, they should be passed through prop model. Okay. What do we have here? Model modifiers, console log. You don't really need to dig into modifiers. That's an interesting one though, but I'm trying to fit in the case that I'm going to use in. I can try, but this really won't work. This might actually work. So now instead of saying, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it. Let's be careful about it. I'll first commit my changes, and let's just do a random commit. Maybe I'll let Copilot do the commit for me, so it's easy for me to just undo the changes. It's a matter of doing it the right way. So let's just ignore the resource. Let's define a model. Const resource is equal to define model. This will be the default model, right? And I wish I could define its type, which I probably will be able to, but I'll look into that later. And now I can say if it's not. Let's just ignore this altogether for a bit. And let's remove this. We don't need it anymore. Resource.data. Resource is type unknown. It is unknown for sure. And I can go back in my parent, and instead of passing it resource, I will now use v model products. I'll be surprised if it works. It would be magic if it works. It is magic and it works. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So what about making the change now? It would be wonderful if it works. This is super cool, actually. This just came out in Vue 3.4. So that's why I have no idea how it actually works. So instead of calling props.resource, now it will be resource. Resource.nextpage URL. Okay. Resource.nextpage URL. Resource.data.push. Data.data. And resource.nextpage URL is equal to data.nextpage URL. Okay, let's see first if the runtime works. Compile time errors, we'll take a look at them later. Is it even calling the method? No, not really, because of this if statement. So let's just comment this one out as well. Cannot read property undefined reading protocol. Okay, I see where this issue is coming from. Resource.nextpage URL. Now, since we don't have any types here, so I can't really tell by looking at code what's wrong. So I'll have to really console log everything. That's what TypeScript saves me of. So, okay, I see. Yeah, I see what's the issue. Okay, dot value, because it's a reactive. It's a reactive thing now, not just a. All right, yeah, but that should do the job to an extent. Reload, load more. It works. Wow. Oh man, this is good. This is one of those satisfaction moments. If you watched me do this, this is one of those satisfaction moments that there's a new update in your favorite framework and it works like magic. Like I don't really need to pass it props. I just remodel it with products with the resource. Now the only problem is I need to be able to type my model. So how do I do that? Okay. At least up till now it works. So I can type my model, define model, unknown string. Laravel resource. Hope it works. Any. Oops. Okay, resource.value is possibly undefined. Yeah, it could be undefined. So how can I make sure it's not undefined? I really need to look into its API. Required define model, but I cannot pass it a second one. Required true. Will this still work? if I don't do that. Is assignable. Okay, yeah, perfect. It's giving me errors. Now again, I'm also discovering a few things for the first time. Resource dot value dot. Okay, yeah, I see. It could be null. It could be null anyways. So if I hover over it, we have the model ref. Yeah, it works like a charm. Now it will just throw away all the errors. Not resource, but resource dot value dot next page URL and resource dot value dot data. How good is this? Props resource next page URL is equal to. I don't need it. Oh man, this is so good. This is like framework satisfaction level 100. Load more works, load more works, load more works. Now, if I didn't know that there is vModel that actually works like this, like just imagine what am I even passing the data table? Like literally nothing, right? Just vModel with your resource and it does the job. What if I remodel it with resource products.data? It should throw me an error. It does because it is expecting in it that shape as well. So our TypeScript is still intact. Perfect. Wow, I'm not so happy because only like 1 or 2 people are watching and they don't really know what really happened right now. But it's one of those moments where you discover this new feature which makes your life like 10 times easier, if not more. And wow, this was magic. And now I can go on as long as there is data and I will be able to do it. So we have already done one big achievement. We are scrolling through the button. We don't have the infinite scroll, which I am not sure if we need that as of now. That is more like a UI or UX thing than the functionality. The next one is the important one, is the sorting one. So we want to be able to sort these columns, and that is for tomorrow, of course, because it's already been too long a stream. So yeah, I'll just push my code. I'm so happy that the model really worked like charm, and I don't really need props anymore. So I can just say define props, and I can remove this altogether. So we just have the columns. That's all. This is also my footer, so I can actually take it out as a component. And yeah, there is more work to be done. This is all messy JavaScript, TypeScript rather. So it will also improve as well. So yeah, I will sign off for today and I'll see you guys tomorrow because it's already almost 2 hours, more than 2 hours. So again, whoever was in the stream today, we already had like 5 or 6 people who showed up. So I'm really happy for that. I hope you guys will join again if you're still listening. So yeah, that's it for today. Let me just push my code. Let's just give it some refactor data table component to use vModel. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. That's it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, especially Suleiman and whoever has been in this chat today. I appreciate you all and see you maybe tomorrow or the day after. I'll be streaming like 2 or 3 days a week. So yeah, goodbye. See you.